They were taken from the stars, blue-skinned, bright-eyed alien girls locked in cages deep beneath a crimson sky, stripped of names, dignity, and freedom. The males were slaughtered. The children vanished. And the females left to suffer in silence, bound and studied like animals. She never thought rescue would come. But when the walls shook and fire lit the sky, a single human broke into the prison, not as a soldier, but as a fury. He saw her, reached through the bars. And when he gave her a weapon, she didn't just escape. She turned, lit the flames, then marched back for her sisters. The cages were built deep, beneath red soil and black metal, beneath towers of smoke and sky-piercing thorns. They didn't call it a prison. They called it a reclamation zone. But she knew what it was. She had known since they took her voice, her name, her freedom, and threw her into the dark beside her sisters. Blue-skinned, horned, long-eared daughters of the stars, reduced to specimens. Test subjects. Breeders. Her people had come in peace, explorers searching for a new home. But the creatures of this world met them with fire and chains. The males were butchered in the landing fields. The children vanished into concrete tunnels. And the women, those who survived, were taken underground and locked in steel cells, forced to sleep, bleed, and scream under sterile lights. She was one of them. Her white hair, once long and proud, now clung to her neck in dirty ropes. Her figure, once strong and athletic, had grown lean from rationed food and bruised from restraint fields. They didn't speak to her, only scanned her, poked her, marked her. She had stopped crying weeks ago. Her sisters lay across from her in other cages, eyes hollow, ears limp, horns dulled. Some never moved anymore. Some whispered names in the dark. But she only watched the vent above her. It hissed quietly, and beyond it, the stars. She had no hope left. Not until the explosion. It came without warning, an earthquake that roared from the upper levels, shaking the floor and splintering the walls. Lights flickered. Sirens howled. Screams of the guards echoed from above. She lifted her head for the first time in days. Her ears twitched. And then she saw him. A shape stumbled through the black smoke down the corridor. A human, covered in ash and fire scars, his armor scorched, one eye bleeding. In his hand, a rifle still hot from battle. In his other hand, a key. He stopped in front of her cage and stared, really stared. She thought he'd walk past like the others. But he stepped closer. "You're not a thing," he said hoarsely. "You're not what they made you into." She didn't respond. Couldn't. But her eyes, bright, pale gold even in the dark, locked on his. Something in her chest cracked open. A sound left her throat. He dropped the rifle. Reached into a pouch. Pulled out a cloak. "I'm getting you out of here." Her cell door clanged open. She didn't move. He knelt beside her. Slipped the cloak over her bruised shoulders. "I'm not going to hurt you," he whispered. "I swear to God." She tried to stand, collapsed. He caught her. Lifted her. She expected pain. But he held her like she mattered. Like she was real. He carried her through fire and blood. They passed other cages, her sisters weeping, whispering. "Help them," she rasped. He stopped. Stared at her. Then nodded. "All of them," he said. He turned back. Found the control panel. Smashed it. Doors hissed open one by one. The girls crawled out, fragile, trembling, some sobbing, some staring in shock. "Follow me," he said. "You're going home." But the planet didn't want to let go. Alarms screamed. Troops descended from above in black armor. The hallway lit with gunfire. He pulled her behind cover, set her down. Grabbed his rifle. "Stay low," he barked. She watched him move, furious, precise. Not just fighting for her, fighting like he'd seen what they'd done and would never forgive it. One shot took him in the shoulder. He stumbled, but didn't fall. Another girl screamed. He turned, fired back, grabbed her, kept moving. She didn't understand why. Why a human would do this. Why one would come. But then she saw his eyes. And it wasn't about her race. Or her species. He just wouldn't let them win. That was enough. She crawled to his side. Grabbed a fallen weapon. Her hands trembled, but she aimed it. Fired once. Then again. The recoil slammed her shoulder, but she didn't stop. "Good," he grunted. "We've got to make it to the evac drop." "No," she rasped. "We take the core." "You sure?" She looked around, at her sisters, rising, arming themselves, standing for the first time in weeks. "They took our voice," she whispered. "Let's show them our scream." He grinned, bloody feral. "Hell yeah." They stormed the core together. She led the charge, white hair flying behind her, spine glowing like a pulse of vengeance. Her short combat suit clung to her strong figure, burnt, scraped, but whole. The other girls followed her, horns raised, rifles hot. When they reached the command deck, the last guard surrendered. Or tried to. She didn't let them speak. Her sisters didn't hesitate. Fire lit the sky. The planet burned. The tower fell. And when the human ships arrived, the war was already over. She stood beside him on the cliff where it all began, looking out at the smoke. Her arms were wrapped in gauze. One horn was chipped. But her eyes were alive again. What now? He asked. She looked at the sky. We find the others. The ones they took. The ones they still cage. And if they won't let them go. She turned to him, a slow, dangerous smile spreading across her face. Then we burn their world down too. He took her hand. Not as a rescuer, but as something else. Something equal. Let's get started. And above them, the stars watched, silent and bright, as the girl who had once been caged stepped forward, free and ready to fight.